If you've ever been to the South Dakota Badlands, you can picture the starkness of that landscape. I don't know what the Judean desert is like from personal experience, but I imagine it to be as fitting a place for a broken-hearted soul to withdraw as the Badlands were for me. Sometimes you go find a place that looks on the outside like what you feel on the inside. I drove that nearly 1,200 miles nonstop one night after a hoped-for love fell through. And then I curled up in the fetal position in the trunk of my old Nissan Maxima and slept. I wandered around alone for many days in that cold, bleak, gray-hilled country, having told no one where I was going. I felt so lost, I didn't even want to be found anymore. One of those mornings, I cried against a retaining wall on a hillside for a while. I know, dramatic. And then walked over to the little park cafe and ordered pancakes and coffee. I've rarely been so dramatically sad as to eschew good food. Someone once asked me over a late-night breakfast at a Waffle House, "Do you know why these folks work here?" "No," I said. "Because they have to," my friend said. My park cafe waitress that morning must have had enough lamentable experience of her own to intuit my sadness. For as I still recall, she was particularly kind to me. Her gentle face and simple friendliness invited me to cross over an invisible threshold. I'd gone a long way from home, carried by grief and despair. But there in the midst of that desert country, a kindred heart brought me good things to eat and drink. I hadn't seen it coming. I hadn't seen anything good coming. I'd stopped looking, and I was in danger of getting used to it, of falling in love with a depression that seemed more substantial than goodness, more real than hope. Until the kind face and presence of a stranger broke that spell with a better spell, a good spell, a gospel. And these are the lyrics to the song The Well, which is based on John 4. Jesus, tired as he was, went and sat by Jacob's well. There was no one else around, until a woman came from town. She wound her way to him with an empty water jar. She was worn and withered thin, with only thirst to fill her heart. And Jesus asked her for a drink. Now she was used to forward men, so she smiled and played the game, 'cause isn't every man the same? And when he tried to catch her eye, she would not cast a glance into the mirror of those depths where the living waters danced. Then he touched a nerve so deep, he said the worst thing he could say, when he laid her sin out plain in the open light of day. But he would not give up yet, till she could hear him say her name. But she pivoted so quick, just trying to outrun all of her shame. Then with a wave she flung off hope. She dismissed it like a joke. She said, "It'll all work out someday, if Messiah ever shows." But as she took her jar to go, she turned just quick enough to see a word well up in Jesus' face, enough to rinse a harlot clean. And I want to see it. I want to look him in the eye. I want to look him in the eye. I want to see it. I want to see what made that woman sing. Because she dropped her old clay jar, and she ran to tell the rest of the man who lifted every burden weighing on her chest. And she sang out clear and clean like a virgin for her groom. Let the whole world come and drink from the well who makes what's sad untrue. So that's reading from Only the Lover Sings. There is an essay that follows that by Thea Rosenburg called Below the Tideline. Um, Really cool essay. And that's all in this book. And the songs are on Spotify. They're on my website, matthewclark.net. They're on YouTube and Amazon as well. So, yeah. Um, we're leading up to the release of book 3, which is called Where the River Goes. That'll be coming out in September. So I'm really excited about that. But yeah, get a copy of the book, listen to the songs, and we'll be going through these little intros and lyrics over the next weeks. Cool. Thanks, y'all.